sorry, mine just turned 6. Okay, we're live? Yep. I feel like it's the cold open, okay. All right, I'm going to now call the Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board December 13th, 2023 meeting to order. I'm Holly Babcock, chairperson. I'm going to have us go around the room and just do quick introductions.
Krista Whalen, School Board.
Linda Sherwood, SAU Director of Business Operations.
Hi, Lauren DeGennaro, Director of Student Services.
Gina Bergstock, Assistant Superintendent.
Andy Corey, Superintendent.
Cindy Bancona, School Board Member.
Beth Williams, School Board Member. Aisha Weaver, Assistant Principal of Student Services at Hollis Brookline High School.
Tim Garzone, High School Principal. Patrick West, Middle School Principal.
Thank you very much. And we have a few board members who are not in attendance, Tom Solon, Robert Mann, and Kate Stoll. At this point, do we have any agenda adjustments?
I would like to make one. Could we possibly table the licensing agreement discussion until our January meeting, because 3 of our members are missing, and I'd like to have everyone's discussion involved?
So I don't know if we want to make a motion to table it, or do you just want to remove it from the agenda? Just adjust the agenda?
Just to adjust the agenda.
Just adjust the agenda.
Yeah.
So we'll take that off and we'll put that on for next month, okay?
Thank you.
And then there are 2 items. When Tim covers his principal's report, he's looking for a vote on the program of studies. We discussed it last month, and typically we would vote this month. And then he has a quick follow-up on the Spanish trip to see if the board will vote to approve the Spanish trip so they can start their fundraising and working with the company.
Okay, so both of those were seen last month, so we'll just be deliberating on that.
Correct, and he'll do it during his principal's report, just to move it along.
So we'll do the deliberative item during his principal report?
Yes,
Okay.
on his 2 items.
Okay, great. Sounds terrific. All right. Anything else?
Just on the correspondence, I just want to let the board know that we are switching our carrier for long-term disability and life insurance. We're moving from Unum to Health Trust. That will result in approximately a 20% savings within the budget, and that will take place February 1st. And all the unions have been notified. The only piece for staff will be to do a new enrollment form for the new company, which will be dealt with via HR.
Great. And there's no other nominations or resignations or any of that? Great, thank you very much. Okay, so we'll move on to minutes. We have a couple of sets of minutes to approve. The first are from November 15th, 2023. We have the following amendments. Page 4, line 33, correct the spelling of league. Page 4, line 46, delete focusing following fundraising. Page 13, line 18, replace the period with a comma. And page 19, line 3, replace form with the word from. So I need a motion to accept as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Krista. Are there any comments? All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. And then we had some non-public minutes. I need a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. And a second. Seconded by Krista. Any comments? All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, and we'll move forward with public input. Although we're a little early, we'll keep the floor open until 6:40, since we were scheduled to start it at 6:10. Those members of the public who enter and would like to make a comment would be asked to state their name and address for the record and keep their input focused on items that are included in the agenda. And we don't generally have a public back and forth discussion, but we ask for an opportunity for the board to listen to the public. We will probably be hearing from our moderator, and I think he'll be coming in around 7, so we will be accepting his comments when he arrives. So the floor is open to the public at this point. So it looks like we are going to be appointing a process observer tonight. It would have been Tom's turn, but he's not here. And then it would have been Kate's turn, but she's not here. So it moves to Krista. So you've been volunteered.
Okay.
We're voluntold. So Krista is now the process observer. Thank you, Krista.
You're welcome.
Someone let Dawn know everything that was happening. Thank you very much for doing that. I did not, so thanks. All right, so at this point, we need to hear from our well, I don't know who's going first. We have the athletics report, we have the principals reports. What do we do here?
I'll do athletics first.
Gentlemen, you decide. Just take it away.
All right. So our winter seasons are underway, both at the middle school and the high school. Our basketball teams just kicked off last night up at the high school, and it looks like the middle school boys, girls basketball are off to a good start, as is the wrestling team, who is actually just wrapping up a meet up at the high school as we speak. SALC update. So Mr. Scott has continued to meet with our student athletic leadership group, made up of about 23 student athletes, and offering captain's workshops during the school day during CAV block. So really excited about the work that he's doing there in improving our overall athletic program. You'll notice Brian included his enrollment numbers, participation numbers, which do appear slightly down at the high school and slightly up at the middle school when you compare to last year. Of note is we did not field a girls' cheer team this winter, but everything else is up and running. And Brian provided with a little bit of a background on the cheer team. He basically said, the fall cheer season went well. Lots of positive feedback in the parent surveys about the coaches, and the plans were to field the team. We just simply didn't have the numbers. There were just some kids who opted out, and then kind of a little bit of a domino effect, and resulted in not being able to field the team. So he's optimistic that we'll have a fall team again next year, and then with the hopes again to run a winter cheers squad. And that is it for athletics.
Did we not, was there no interest in winter cheer, or we didn't have anyone to coach?
No, we had the coach. It's the same coach as the fall. It was Miss Ellis, and like I said, the fall season went well. We had a lot of positive feedback about it. It was, as the group goes, sometimes one kid said, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, and if you're not going to do it, I'm not, and there was a little bit of a domino effect, and before you knew it, we were down to kind of low single digits, and there just wasn't enough to field the team.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one I think I've asked a little bit in the past, but just, you can see the numbers here, just the 14 to 9 down to 0, but from my memory, I don't have the fall ones in front of me, but we took some, those numbers have been declining quite a bit too, so just curious about, as long as he's keeping an eye on it. Sounds good.
But it's always interesting to me when you look at sports, because you also see like indoor track, 22, 32, 40. So, there's this, it's really the number on the bottom that I kind of pay attention to. So it's like we had a bubble last year, or, maybe, it's like, the interest changes depending on the year where kids are interested. Sometimes we have a really heavy field hockey year, and then that means we have a lower volleyball year. It just depends on the interest. But it's always disconcerting to see a 0. That's sad.
Agreed.
But,
Yep.
but that's interesting. I have to comment on the, you call it SALC, is that what you're referring to?
SALC,
SALC. I just think this, and I read through your report in combination with the leadership group that you brought to Concord. I
Yep.
don't know what you're referring to that. Plus, I noticed the community wellness group that we started, I
Yep.
think last year,
Well,
started.
community
like,
wellness ambassadors, yeah.
Wellness ambassadors, just a real initiative I'm seeing of like getting kids to be leaders in the building. I think is such a great, I just think that's an initiative that I've seen since you've come on that I think is great. It's really showing kids the way to be governing, not just through student council, but through other areas of interest that they can make a difference in. I think is really positive. And I'm interested to see what these kids come up with sports, because I don't know, in my experience, sports has a lot of topics to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
I would love to hear what they actually, I think it'd be great to hear from them at some point,
Okay, yeah. We can have a-
All of these groups, I'd love to hear from them. So, we hear from student council all the time, but I'd love to hear from them sometime.
Yeah.
This is very new, so give them a chance to get their feet wet for a while, but yeah, I think it'd be great to hear from them. So,
Yeah.
okay, thanks. So who's coming next after this?
Do you want to go? Sure.
I'm going to close that one and move on to middle school.
Lots of fun in the 8th grade over the last month or so. Team Da Vinci went on their annual field trip to the Freedom Trails. Team Bartlett, while Team Da Vinci was out of the building, put together a fun day of activities, a lot of team building, community building. Sounds like it was a great day with Bartlett. I was on the trip with Team Da Vinci, but both days went great. Both events went great, so thank you to our 8th grade teachers for putting those together. Patriots Pen Essay, shout out to Melody Marino for taking first place, Livy Ward second place, Eliza Earl third place, and thank you for our 8th grade teachers for continuing the Patriots Pen Essay. HBMS held their annual spelling bee. 7th grade represented strong. Shout out to Regan Walton, who finished second place, 7th grader, and Grayson Sparks, who took third place, and Sophia Bozick, who took first place. Last night we had our band and chorus winter concerts. They both went extremely well. Thank you, Miss Nault and Miss Spencer, for all of their work with both groups, and Miss Spencer for her 130 student choir, which the gym was extremely filled last night with students and parents and families, which was great to see. The chorus middle school actually invited some of the high school students down last Saturday for their Luminaria stroll, which was down at Monument Square. And we are holding our Helping Hands gift drive again this year, which is run by the Student Council. And there are some important upcoming dates.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Patrick? No? Great. Actually, it was great. First of all, great to see the kids back on field trips. That's exciting. I mean, that's really fun. And the band and the concert choir back together again. I was at the Luminaria Stroll and I heard the kids. They sounded great. It was awesome. Great to see them. So, and congratulations to all those 7th grade spelling bee kids and the kids who did the Patriots Pen. Is that for the VFW post?
Yes.
So that was the topic was.
I don't know the topic
sorry
off
to put you on
the
the spot.
top, but I can get that and let you know by
That's
next
great.
meeting.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Well, congratulations to all of them. All right. And thank you for providing the clubs and list of clubs and advisors. Is that,
Oh,
thanks.
yep.
Is that sort of something we're doing this time of the year? Just to make sure that we have that?
Yeah, we had agreed that this month we were going to bring forward the list every year just for a quick review,
Thank you for
more of an
remembering
FYI.
Yeah, thanks for remembering that. That's great.
Yep.
Looks like we're.
It's on that calendar.
full. I know, that calendar, we're working on that
We're working on that
calendar. I
calendar.
want that calendar.
There's a sticky note on my wall.
Yeah, we need to have a calendar so I can remember what I'm doing. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's all for me. It has nothing to do with all of you. Okay, thank you. All right, Tim, you're up.
All right. So I would like to highlight just a couple things in my report here. So The Great Gatsby, if you didn't catch it a couple weeks ago, we had more than 50 students take part in the production of it in the cast and crew. Mr. Barbosa continues to do just a masterful job up there. We had Mr. Rogers also assist with the music. The kids were outstanding between the music and the costumes, the set, everything, the acting, everything was absolutely outstanding. So big hats off to Matt and his entire department for that production. I want to congratulate again, staying in the performing arts, the following students for their qualifying for the New Hampshire Chamber All-State Festival. So Bella Hugh, Katya Chakina, Anna Longton, Connor Moquin, and Finn McShane. And of note, Anna Longton has made the group as a freshman, which is incredibly impressive. And Finn McShane is first vocalist selected for Chamber All-State in over 7 years from the high school. So congrats to all those students, and again, Mr. Barbosa and Mr. Rogers in the Performing Arts Department. We had 5 students take the American Mathematics Competition exam, which is a qualifier for the USA Math team. Last year, I think we had 2 kids take the test, so 5 is a pretty significant number. Angelina Costa, Sam Hersey, Mindy Hugh, Kazuya Okada, and Benton Zhang. So we will hear the results from those tests early in the new year. We had talked about the captain's workshops already, and I just wanted to highlight the group of students that we took up to Concord, the student leadership group. We had gone earlier this year over to the Milford Boys and Girls Club, and we took part in the viewing of Like. We watched another film this time. Students from all over the state came to this one. Our kids had an opportunity to workshop ideas about things that we're doing in schools that work, that help kids tackle the issues around adolescent anxiety. Our kids were outstanding as usual, insightful, and provided real good feedback about ways we can improve the school and just some things that we can do to better support kids. So it was a really good day. And midterms are coming up right around the corner. I just want to highlight that. We have midterms the week of the 22nd, and I think with the primary day falling on the 23rd, we'll adjust that schedule just slightly when that time comes. And that is all. Open to any questions or comments on the report. Oh, and I do want to mention again, the program of studies, as Mr. Corey mentioned earlier, we had reviewed that last month. I was hoping to have a vote on what we presented last month so that we can move forward with our course selection process and timeline as we normally do this time of year. And I just wanted to note, we did make a couple slight adjustments in the student services, nothing programmatic, all minor changes. We added a consumer math class for students on individualized education plans, students who complete the essentials for algebra, at times need a fourth year math experience, and that consumer math is something that we've done in the past. It's existed in previous years, and we just put it back in as an offering for students who are in that track, and their plan would dictate that coursework anyway, but it didn't exist in language in the student service section, so we added that back in, and some other slight adjustments to language around program. No changes in offerings, no changes in programming, just some language changes in the student service section. But other than that, everything that we reviewed last month, I was hoping to get a vote on, as well as the Spanish trip, which we presented last week, or last month. Hoping to get a vote on that so they can move forward with planning for that. And if there's any questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
Does anyone have any questions for Tim?
No, it all looks good.
I don't have any questions, but Holly, if it wasn't posted on the agenda, did you get feedback from any of the other board members? Like, there's not major changes or anything, but just that to have the vote tonight wasn't on there. Did anybody have feedback?
No, but we reviewed it last month,
Yeah,
and it was assumed that we would vote on it this month. I mean, that was, we usually review and vote, so it was just kind of it was an oversight, thank you.
Yeah,
for
no,
not
I
putting
have
it on
no
there.
problems
Yeah.
with that. I was just
Yeah.
curious if you got any feedback that we need to.
No, I don't. I mean, but you're right, the other board members wouldn't know that we were going to vote on it tonight, but it really was sort of assumed that we would vote on it, so that's my mistake for not catching that, so I think we need to vote on it so that they can move forward with
Yeah,
it.
no,
So. Are we still, I did notice in the budget that we've removed the computer science teacher position, so, but do we still have those computer science offerings in the program of studies as offerings in case we figure out a way to offer them through math teachers or something else? Is that?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
And some of the classes that were offered, we did maintain as such anyway. As an example, AP Computer Science, we're offering that year,
Right.
that this year without a computer science teacher.
Okay.
The personal finance courses we're offering without the computer science teacher. So we did keep them in there, but yeah, we do not currently have a plan to fill
To
that position.
rehire that position. Right, to
That's
fill that
correct.
position. Okay, so back to your principal's report, just to start back on that. I just usually like to try and make a shout out. I mean, you've
Yep.
shouted out those kids, but I'm not going to name all of them, but I do want to congratulate all the All-State musicians and the American Mathematics competition winners, or the people who are moving
Qualifiers,
forward.
yeah.
Qualifiers,
Yeah.
thank you. Just a question about that. Have we been doing that exam for a couple of years, or have we been doing it for a long time? 'Cause I feel like I haven't heard of it before. But
We've been doing it for several years, I
have we?
believe, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. I've
Yeah,
noticed
it's
that
usually,
before.
like I said, it's a very, very small number on
Numbers,
a
so that's
normal
a-
year. You might hear
that's a
one or two.
lot of
numbers.
kids, right.
5 is a lot, 5 is a high
Okay,
number.
so that's
Yep,
extraordinary.
correct, yep.
Well, congratulations to all of those kids and to all of those teachers who've taught them math over the years. So they've really learned math well.
They like spreadsheets too.
They're better at math than me. So that's great. Okay, so moving forward, is there anyone who has a problem with us approving the program of studies at this point or taking a vote on it? So I need a motion to approve the program of the studies as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Krista. Any questions, comments? All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, and then the Spanish trip, which is much more, more of a boilerplate thing, was presented to us. And it's a trip that, although we're using a new company this year, we've certainly approved these kinds of trips before. Was presented again last month. I need a motion, is it to Madrid, or does it matter? Does it just move?
You can just approve the Spanish trip.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the Spanish trip as presented in our November meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Krista.
And
Any-
it's 2025, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Should we add that to the motion? Spanish trip for 2025?
No, we
Okay.
only have one Spanish trip.
That's true. Okay. All those in favor? 4-0. Motion carries. So that's set. Okay. All right. Moving forward. I think we're at the 7:10 PM discussion, but it is 6:20. So, Drew is going to kill me if I don't keep this report open. District suicide prevention. So,
Yep.
That would be
So,
Asia?
yes.
Thank you.
I am unfamiliar with using this, but I will do my best.
I am trying to make this last as long as possible.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Don't do that.
I-
Oh, yeah. I was like, sure. Yeah.
So, thank you. A lot of our work in updating our suicide prevention plan began last year during the springtime with our school social worker, Jillian Berkeley, and our school counseling department chair, Chantel Clardy, and myself. And we looked to identify if there were any revisions that were needed in the process in which we assess students at risk. So part of that assessment was looking at the student interview, the documentation of our decisions to send a student for external evaluations or not to send a student out, and what resources to provide to parents and how to provide those resources. What we noted is that some of our documents and resources needed to be a little more streamlined during that process when we're meeting with our parents and discussing a hard topic, so that they're able to access those necessary resources. Just an overview of some adolescent suicide facts, and our data comes from the National Alliance on Mental Health, also known as NAMI, and it notes that suicide is the second leading cause of death of children aged 10 to 14 years old, and also the third leading cause of death of adolescents and young adults aged 15 to 24. It also notes that over 50% of children and adolescents who are aged 6 to 17 who have attempted suicide have a significant mental health disorder. So as we know through at least these two data points, that it is a significant problem that we are looking to prevent and provide those interventions and postventions. To note that adolescent suicide is also generally preventable, and also taking note that there is a great deal of stigma and isolation around the issue, so we look to try to eliminate that. Talking about suicide does not necessarily cause a person to be suicidal, but we also need to make sure that we take all warning signs very seriously. Also to note that talking about suicide and making connections with positive adults is the first step to suicide prevention. So when we're looking at the protective factors here at the co-op, all of our staff members work together to create a school climate that welcomes diversity, which is ethnic, social, LGBTQ, gender, and other cultural aspects. We also provide professional development, and also in accordance to our policy JLDBB, our staff members are annually provided with suicide prevention training. And also our school counselors are also trained through the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network. We also have high school and middle school clubs. Some of the high school clubs to note are our Community Wellness Ambassadors, Morgan's Message, and HB The Change. When we look at our school counselors, they meet with our students to help build that rapport, connection, relationships. And as we look at our school counselors at the high school, to note that our model of caseloads, our school counselors have grade-specific caseloads that loop with their students throughout their 4 years at HB, so that increases their connection with the students throughout their time. But we also note that when they meet with freshmen, they have a meet and greet. Sophomores, they work through their Naviance codes and how to log in, how to utilize Naviance. Our juniors start their spring meetings discussing more about college readiness and career readiness. And our seniors, during their fall meetings, they're looking at their transcripts, their credits, and also their college plans. At the middle school, we have the grade-specific caseloads as they loop with their students, also to create that connection with their students and families. And there's a consistent presence at lunchtime, as well as student check-ins in small groups. As we look at the suicide prevention plan, our staff are notified to always have a student seen in counseling immediately if there's an intent to harm oneself or others, or if there's something that is just off about the student. We do have a suicide protocol chart, and that's on page 3 of the suicide intervention plan, which is attached to the agenda. And that flow chart is displayed in all of our classrooms. Part of the prevention plan at the high school, we have SIT team meetings, which meet 3 times a month to identify students who are struggling academically, social emotionally, behaviorally, and to look into what ways we can support the students. At the middle school, they also have MTSS, which follows the same approach, but they also meet weekly to identify those struggling students. We also offer Red Ribbon Week activities and initiatives, and that's provided from our school counseling and resource officer to help provide substance abuse awareness and prevention.